Hello and welcome to the Carolyn Williams Show that has interesting people with interesting stories. And this morning, you've got this. Yes, you've got this. You've got the author of the book. You've got this, Valerie Dwyer. Welcome, Valerie.
Thank you, Carolyn. A delight to be here.
Who is a Valerie Dwyer? Who is the real Valerie Dwyer?
That's a very good question. I think I've had quite a few lives. If I was a cat, I've certainly worked out my 9. So I remember saying I might share something today that a lot of people probably don't know about me. So you like that, won't you?
Yes.
So people know me now as the founder of My Wonderful Life Coach. And that's all about creating a wonderful world. But what they don't know is you'll find me at my best in my muddy boots and jeans, out in the countryside, walking through woodland. In fact, in the early days, a lot of my clients were on farms or, those sort of areas, country parks and so on. But when I go back to my childhood, because I know you're going to ask me about who inspires me, by the time I was 5, not a lot of people know this, my maternal grandmother had taught me to skin a rabbit, to dissect a chicken, and then I found out where my lovely pig that I used to take the pig swill out to every day, where it went in the autumn, just before the winter came on. And I have to say, I could never feed a pig again.
And
so the Valerie Dwyer is somebody who has been through, just like the cat with its 9 lives, been through a whole range of life-threatening, life-changing experiences. And when you can look back and you can laugh or you can smile about those experiences, and you can find some little thing that makes it funny into almost kind of a joke, it's wonderful. But even more wonderful is when you can take the gifts from what you've learned and you can shape them together to help other people. And that's what my life is all about. It's about bringing vision, the gift of vision, to people who don't have that vision, so that they can create a wonderful life for themselves. And at the same time, we are creating a wonderful world together.
yes, that's where I feel there is identity between you and I, because I connected with you some years ago on Facebook and LinkedIn. And what struck me, because I'm a believer in be the change you want to see in the world, you're changing things for the better. And you're part of a brigade, I'd call it, of people that really want to love the planet and love everything that's in it, be it animals, be it people, be it whatever it is, just love the planet. And so I was really excited to sort of have this chat with you today. When you talked about people who inspired you, can you name 3 of the people that would have inspired you, Valerie, to become who you are today?
I can, and there's one constant, and the other 2 probably shift as you move through life. But the one constant is my maternal grandmother.
Yeah.
She was a true entrepreneur. She could make something out of nothing. And the skills that she taught me were the foundation for my first business, my second business, and getting hooked on business. I progressed through to finally having founded and grown, bought, sold, merged 10 businesses. And these are businesses, that one of them employed 10 people. and I have 50 people out working for me who I taught how to start their own businesses. And so it's, you know, the lessons that I learned from her were the power of your imagination to see things in a different way.
Yes.
The benefits of persistence, yes, and perseverance. If at first, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And she, I know it's from her. I got all of these, you know, I have a book full of sayings. For example, when I sit at her knee and she taught me how to tailor and to crochet and to sew and to dressmake and to rug make. And she'd say things like, the stitching time saves 9. Yeah. Waste not, want not. But I especially love, especially now, you know, we're issues about food, sustainability, and so on. And we'd sit there at breakfast, even though my grandmother used to hatch out the eggs in the old iron stove on a tray with a towel on. She'd put a tray of eggs in, and the oven wasn't on. It had latent heat. And I'd go and come down in the morning and open that door, and you could hear the little chirping before you opened the door, and there were all these little chicks. But even though she hatched her own chicks, kept her own chickens at breakfast, it still rings with me today, and it's that a little bit of egg and a big bit of bread. A little bit of egg and a big bit of bread. Because, you know, in those days, even though she had her own chickens and her own eggs, she sold eggs and she sold chickens. Yeah. So it was about being sustainable.
Of course. And the other two?
The other two were opera. You know, I've got to say opera. Or Oprah, however you pronounce her.
Yeah, but, Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
wonderful.
Where she came from.
Yes.
What she's achieved.
What she's achieved.
And it's not just about that show or the book programs, the book clubs, but it's about that whole perseverance, imagination, belief, trust, faith, and, you know, keep at it till you break through, because like most successes, it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And it can take 10 years to create an overnight success.
And your third?
Third, well, I've got to have a male, haven't I? So Richard Branson did inspire me at periods in business for the fact that he also had, you know, coming from where he came, the difficulties he also had, challenges, but having that vision and being brave to use a word like virgin at the time that he did, it could have gone either way, but fortunately it all took off for him. And again, it's a story of persistence and perseverance, and motivating and inspiring other people and helping them along as well.
When social media is concerned, you're obviously a serial entrepreneur, listening to everything you just even began to share here. Where the digital signature is concerned, where would you say you lie? Are you a starter? Are you a spotlight? Or are you a signature digital?
I definitely would say I'm not a signature digital yet. I always like to add the word yet onto the end.
Right.
Because there's still time, isn't there?
Of course.
Maybe I'm a bit further than a starter. But, you know, doing my Kindle, doing my ebook, gosh, that's been a steep learning curve. Now, I've been in several books written by other authors, and I've contributed articles and I've had chapters. But this book is my first, all my own work, and doing it digitally is my first time. And I self-published it, which is my first time. So big learning curve, a lot of challenges, but absolutely delighted yesterday when the last person to buy the book while it was still on launch special lives in Singapore. And I'm just absolutely delighted about that.
Yeah.
The inspirational quotes, well, I am very visual. And so, you know, art is in my background. And the work I do is all about creativity. It's about using your right brain.
Yes.
It's about making that bridge from your left brain to your right brain so that you can see things differently, do things differently. And so, yes, that's really all what I'm about, is helping other people to create that bridge as well.
Yes,
so that they can envision.
That's the connection between us, Valerie. That's more than one, but that's a very strong one, because I'm a visual learner and I too had art. And so it's your graphics, because I love your graphics. They're very empowering. They're very enabling. It's always about you can laugh, and it's laughter, and you can do this. So I love the fact that you connect the headline and the strapline to visibility and graphic, and it just jumps off the page. So talking about you've got this, because I love that. I love that kind of like, you have got this. And I usually would say to the heart, because that's what I'm like, because I'm very physical as a fitness professional. I do my meditation, and it's always, and it will always come via the heart. So talk to us about you've got this.
Well, people have asked me, why is there a tiger on the cover for a start?
Right.
And that little tiger, well, he's a little tiger when he begins.
Yes.
And then she's a big tiger at the end of the book. But you've got this, the point is, Carolyn, that we, you, I, we, everybody, we have got all that we need. What some of us have missing is either the key or the knowledge of where to put the key in the lock to open up the beauty of who we are and our purpose and our why. And so the whole purpose of the book, it shares the 6 exact steps in the right sequence for everyone. I started for entrepreneurs because that's what I know, but it's actually for everyone who wants to completely change their life. If you don't want to go back to the old normal, you want a new normal, and you want to know that you're on purpose and you're creating not only the better world for you, but the better world for all of us, then this is the book to do it. There's no fluff here. I'm in the process at the moment of setting up the Facebook group so that people who read the book and they maybe don't get the meditation stuff, they will be able to download the meditations to help them. So this is why we set up a separate page to register to go and buy the book, so that they can get on the inside and get the extra resources.
Excellent. I follow Gabby Bernstein in terms of her meditations, and I would say Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I hear your words after I've meditated. When I look at some of your posts, they jump out from that point of view. So talk us through the 6 steps to reinvent ourselves.
Okay, well, actually 6 and a bit, but I'll go through them with you. So, well, the reason is, you know, it's one thing to learn to meditate, but it's another thing, very closely connected, to motivate your mindset.
Your signals are going a little bit there, Valerie, so we're missing some of the things you're saying. Signals dropping a little bit.
Okay, and it's it's 6 and a bit steps, because meditation on its own is not enough.
No.
Motivate your mindset is very important, and they fit very closely together. So for those who have not meditated before, I send them to a free 1-week course where they can learn to meditate. And the feedback that I've had from people is that they are continuing to meditate if they haven't done it before. They love it. And you don't need to pose in a yoga pose or do anything like that. You can walk in the woodland. You can meditate literally anywhere, apart from driving the car, of course. So from meditate, you learn to motivate your mindset. And I give some of the techniques that I've given to my clients, and that some of which I use before I go on and speak at a big conference. You know, because we all get collywobbles from time to time, don't we, when we're in front of a big audience. So I give them a couple of techniques that they can learn through the book. And they're also going to be resources that, I mean, they look very funny when I do them, but I'm going to produce the videos so that people can follow them. From that, it's clear your mind clutter. And this is so important. And I add that the book at the back has a complete list of environmental steps to take to prepare for doing any of the work in the book, as well as resources. But clear the mind clutter is probably, well, every step is so important to be done in the right order. But that is to open your mind up for the creativity of bringing your vision out into the world, birthing your vision. Once you have your vision, which you bring out in a blueprint, but importantly, in your subconscious, you switch on your success sat nav. And that's a very powerful piece of work. If you ever played the game when you were a child, you were in a car with your or parents or the relative who had a car, or you're going on a long journey and, you know, are we there yet? Are we there yet? You'd be said to play maybe I Spy, or, well, how many red cars can you see, Valerie? Or how many green cars can you see, Valerie? And you know, you spot one, and what? Next thing, every other car is that colour of car. You've maybe experienced it yourself, Carolyn. So that's what your RAS sat-nav is doing. Now, all those opportunities, they're under your nose right now. They are, but you're not on the wavelength. You're not tuned in, you're not switched on, you're not picking them up. But once you do this, it's, you know, the feedback I have is, I can't believe this, you know, it's so much is happening since we did this process.
Yes.
And also, you know, I do caution, but there are steps you can take not to get into overwhelm, because that's not what it's all about. But from clearing the mind clutter, getting your vision out into the world, the next important step is vitalize your values. Because if your values and your vision are not completely aligned, two things are going to happen. Either somebody else is going to let you sabotage your vision, or you're going to do it yourself. So that's a very important step, the aligning of your values and your vision. Once we've got there, the next step is to storm-proof your success strategies. And that's step 5, storm-proof your success strategies. And it is like naming and shaming your obstacles and befriending your resources. Why? It's not the traditional SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, but there is an element of that. But we take this to a whole new level. And it's naming and shaming your obstacles and befriending your resources. And we don't realize until we frame it in those ways how many more there are than we would think by looking at SWOT. Now, the beauty of this step is by the time you get to step 6, which is manifest your magnificent master plan, you're already there. You're already there by the time you get to step 6, because in the process I've set out in the stormproofing, we use a method that enables you to already set out the elements that you need to put into your master plan. And the work is actually happening internally. This is where the work is happening. You've now connected your heart, mind, body, and spirit. You are connected to your purpose and your why. And you're to the point where it really doesn't need thinking about. But we go through the business process and we say, okay, we're a business. We will set out our strategies. But anyone can ask us anything about this. But it's so now in the core of us that we don't need to look at the document to explain it. People shine when they've got this connection with
Yes.
their purpose and their vision
And the alignment.
and the alignment. They shine.
Yes.
Like stars. They shine.
2 things that jumped out of that explanation, and I thank you for that, was that I spent a little bit of time with my daughter yesterday evening, and she's a project manager by degree, but she is an animal healer. And for the last couple of weeks, she's been getting very aligned sat-navi. You need to pursue and develop your work with animals, because, and then I say to her as a caring mother, follow your heart's desire.
Yes.
And that was the conversation. So it was really a powerful comment you made about the sat-nav, because I felt that yesterday with my daughter. She was actually believing she was going on this journey now, this new journey where her heart is desiring her to go. So thank you for that explanation. And I love the stormproofing, and I love the obstacles, because they're very real obstacles, and most of them are self-made.
Mm.
And what I would like to compliment you on, because I did look at it this morning, your book, You've Got This. What I liked when you said that when you sell the book, that a tree would be planted in Malaysia, am I right?
Malawi.
Malawi, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Malawi.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a wonderful idea of farming, of planting the seed. And I compliment you for that, because that meant a lot to me when I read it. And I thought, how nice was that to buy a book, paper book, cardboard, paper, and then plant the seed.
I really thank you. I really thank you for that, Caroline, because that is a really important part of the book for me. But we also, because it's a book, we give access to books and education for girls in Cambodia.
Right.
So that's what each book does. But I'm adding something else. There's now a beekeeping initiative.
Excellent.
And we need more bees. So the books in future will do those 2 things, the fruit trees in Malawi, and this is for impoverished families, for nutrition and income, and the books and education for the girls in Cambodia, but also now there's a global beekeeping project, and we'll be funding that as well.
The irony of the beekeeping is that I live on a 3rd floor flat, and I had a swarm of bees constantly around my lounge window throughout COVID, March. And I ended up realizing there was a bee's nest that's in the brickwork just by my lounge window. And so it's quite, I think, an ironic view of having bees right outside. And I'm a honey monster. I love honey. And so the only way I could cope with the swarm of bees was to think that I already had my own stock of organic honey outside the brickwork. But it's obvious that we are part of nature, whether we like it or not. and we are connected. And so that was a lovely explanation there. What would you say is your why, Valerie?
My why is absolutely to create a more wonderful world by bringing people the gift of vision. We can't individually on our own create a wonderful, abundant, happy, sustainable world. We're an individual. But if we have a gift that we can share with other people who are like-minded, and they can share, because you were talking about ironic, Caroline. Most of my clients have become coaches and they're using the visioning method. And so what's happening now is I am developing the program for coaches, consultants, and mentors. And I would love this program to be global and in the hands of the people who are making the decision, because I believe the most important power of a leader is vision.
Absolutely.
That's the most important power.
Absolutely.
And, can it be a vision that encompasses? Paul Polman, you're asking who inspires you. He's my hero of the moment.
The man.
Paul Polman, yeah.
Yes.
Did you see his speech to the UN?
No, I didn't.
He
No.
stood up, and everybody should go and find Paul Polman,
Yes.
listen to his speech to the UN. And it's about the fact that these are the people in those positions to make these decisions and changes that affect the countries and the world.
Yes.
And they have a duty now to change, to take this sustainable route and to, share the word and spread the word. I never thought I would hear those words coming out of the mouth of a corporate chairman of a global company that when it comes down to it, makes wash powders and things like that, but then went into food. But a conglomerate, and I'm in awe. I'm in absolute awe.
I will listen and to his speech, because that isn't a name that I've come across. So it's important that I've learned something new again today. The part that I love is that we are responsible. We are responsible, and it's about us. And so
Yes.
Coming together, I think, we talk about sort of the core values, the value of our conversation this morning, the fact that you've come onto my program and show is good timing for me, because I want to be able to connect voices, to discover voices that make the difference. So I was going to ask you there, on becoming the real person, because I'm person-centered, and I've realized most of my shows are person-centered, and your vision is person-centered because your core values are that. Where would you say that you are becoming who you want to be now? Belief of becoming who you really want to be?
I would say that I probably am who I want to be. Through my life experiences, each time one of these things happened, I moved a level. So I shifted a level.
Yes.
And so now I don't think there's a great deal more for me to change. I'm very, very happy with who I am and what I believe in and the gift I have to give to the world. This is what it's about now. It's getting this gift
Yes.
out into the hands of as many people as possible who are able. It frustrates the hell out of me to see people struggle, to be unsure who they are, not clear on their identity, to feel unfulfilled, because life is precious and it's not a rehearsal. And we don't have to be perfect, but we do have to, well, we don't have to, nobody can make us, but it would be wonderful, wouldn't it, if every one of us who has a gift felt that we could share it.
Yes, I think you're, the fact that you're giving a tree to each person that buys the book is part of that vision of literally planting a seed and watching those seeds and leaders, if you like, take up the mantle across the world. And you and I are part of this vision, you see, because I've joined the global network, and therefore I'm in Africa, therefore I'm in India, and I'm in Australia, and and I'm just at home. So, you know, I've done all this like you. I'm living in Wales, but I'm able to reach because of social media. And I think that's what I hear in your message, Valerie, is that that's where your drive is, that's where your vision is leading you to. And I'm sure it's going to be so rewarding, graphically rewarding as well, because it shows in your pictures online. Where is your happy place?
Where is my happy place? Well, it's right in here, actually. It's right in here. That's my happy place. Yeah, it's right in here. And I wanted to quickly say, and it would be remiss of me not to, I couldn't do this wonderful gifting around the world, all these projects, because I do far more than the book's talking about.
Yes,
in fact, we've got one in the UK, a new one in the UK, and that's the Buddy Bag Foundation. And that was a client who, her name, Carolyn Williams, another Williams there. But out of Karen's vision came gifting the buddy bags to children in the UK who have been taken into emergency care through domestic violence or abuse. And it's a lovely little backpack, and it contains all that a child needs and something for mother as well. Pyjamas or nightie, toothpaste, toiletries, book, teddy bear, picture frame, something for them when they've been taken out of home with nothing, but something for them. And now they are funded, can be funded through B1G1, which is what makes it possible, the Global Giving Initiative, which makes it possible for entrepreneurs, business owners, individuals, people like me who can, through being a partner in that organisation, can fund these projects all around the world, whether it's food, water, stopping waste, whatever it might be. And we are all working towards the 17 UN Sustainable Goals. Excellent.
And it's B1G1.
Yes. It stands for buy one, gift one.
Gift one. Oh, right. I was just going to ask, buy one, gift one.
And through that, we're able to call ourselves a when good, then good business. So when something good happens in our business, we sell a book, somebody comes on a program, I go and do a talk, we gift something good in the world.
That's a wonderful idea, sharing idea. I'd like to be a part of something like that. So if anything does come to mind, please keep me in mind.
I will.
Thank you. I'm going to finish there because I feel so comfortable with you. I know this conversation could go on all day, really. But I want I think I've captured the gems that you've got there. What I would like to finish with is, apart from being the happy place in your heart, where else would you be happy? Where is your happy place in terms of the area?
Okay, the area. That's really a difficult one. I think it's a combination of things. But I discovered South Africa and went on a non-violent safari. And I've seen the sunrise and I've seen the sunset there, and it was fabulous. And it spoke to me as a place. I discovered Bali, and I've walked through the waters there when the boats couldn't reach the beach, and you've got to roll your trousers up walk through the water to get onto the island, and I've seen again the sunrise and the sunset, and it seems, and Australia, you know, and I could go on New Zealand, and I could go on forever because I love to travel and explore new places.
Sounds that way, yeah.
And they all have a little piece of me, you know, there's a little bit in my heart for all of them. And I'd love to, once all this current situation is over, to be going back.
Yes, it still seems that politically we are stuck, and that is something that we all experience right now. But then it's up to people like you and I to unstack this feeling and heart-centered sharing with everybody so that we can shift.
Can I share a little, another little thing with you, Caroline?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the other happy place I have is my house on the right bank. And the house on the right bank is something I was taught how to create, and it's in my right brain. And this is a wonderful place that I created in my imagination. And of an evening or a morning or any time of day, I have a mantra that takes me across the stepping stones onto the island to go into the house on my right bank, and it involves sounds and colours and movement to make it impactful, which is very much something I use in my work. Sounds and colour and movement. Aromas have come in now as well. But I can do anything, be anyone, go anywhere, and so can everyone else in their imagination. If it's a difficult time and we can't go where we want to be, but we can close our eyes and we can go into that place and we can see. You know, at one time, and I don't go there much now, but I had a boardroom. Yes. And at that boardroom table, well, in fact, Richard Branson was one of the people there, as well as Daniel Priestley and a few other people. So we have, each and every one of us, maybe with some of us it needs a little work. We need to give ourselves a bit of space to create the opportunity, but we can go anywhere we want at any time in our mind.
Thank you for taking us on that journey. It's like a magic carpet journey. I wish you well, and I'd love you to come back at some stage to tell us how far you've got on this journey with the vision and leadership. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Caroline. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you too.